Alright, fellow Slayers, time to take a look at the penultimate episode of the season, which is Two to Go. In the minutes after Will's flaying of Warren, Buffy, Xander, and Anya run through the woods. As Xander fights the urge to be sick after what he saw, Buffy deduces Will's last words mean she's going after Jonathan and Andrew, who are still in jail. Confused, Xander asks why Willow would now try to kill Jonathan and Andrew since he had nothing to do with killing Tara. But Buffy says Willow has an addictive personality and, when she starts something, she won't stop. Anya then mentions that Willow would take some time to get to the jail, even at her magic level. Using her demon powers, Anya teleports herself to get there first to save the boys. Buffy and Xander then talk about Willow, but Buffy saying that now that Willow's killed someone, things change. Xander, however, tries to justify Will's actions by reminding Buffy that Warren was a cold-blooded serial killer of women just getting started, and finally got what he deserved. Despite this, Buffy doesn't believe Warren deserved to die for killing Tara, but she and Andrew agree that Jonathan and Andrew don't deserve the same fate. They find Xander's car destroyed, courtesy of Willow, and Buffy runs ahead by herself, leaving Xander behind to complain. In jail, Warren still convinces Andrew still convinces Warren is coming to save them, but Jonathan has a more realistic view and the two argue. Anya Pearson's an update to discuss some recent events. Anya calls the guard and tries to convince him that he's let the guys out because something terrible is coming for them. Will arrives outside the police station, puts an officer down a sleep spell, and uses magic to tear apart the brick wall that keeps her from Andrew and Jonathan's cell. Officers try to stop Willow, but she keeps them all at bay. Anya, who can teleport herself, can't get the guys out of the cell so walls break apart. Meanwhile, Buffy arrives on the scene and sneaks into the building. Willow floats up to the opening of the wall, but she finds it still empty and the bars bent apart. Anya tries to talk to Willow, but Willow knocks her out with a bolt of energy and lets out a powerful scream. Xander steals the police car and gives Buffy, Andrew, and Jonathan an escape. Buffy and Xander discuss their plans and question why Willow isn't after them. At that moment, a large semi-truck approaches from behind with Willow on top, controlling the vehicle. Willow eventually runs out of power, and the driver stops the truck while Xander and the others escape. Excuse me. Meanwhile, Clem tries to entertain Dawn, but she's focused more on the fact that she's cooped up in the crypt with him and wants to be helping her sister and friends. In the cave in Africa, Spike reviews the trial rules with a demon. A large man of flaming fists approaches and starts to attack Spike. In Sunnydale, Dawn and Clem lead the way to Rex's moving place, despite his strong misgivings, where Dawn hopes to find Willow. Meanwhile, Anya helps the others into the magic shop and goes to one of the few books Willow didn't drain, an untranslated book of protection spells. Jonathan tries to help, but Buffy isn't interested and only manages to let them know that Willow will need a recharge soon. Buffy agrees to make sure that Jonathan knows that they're only protecting them for Willow's sake. Buffy and Xander talk about keeping Willow from killing Andrew or Jonathan and what's going to happen when they do find her. Willow visits Rack and the two chat. "Tell me, Strawberry," he whispers. "What on this earth do you want?" Willow quotes Rack back to himself. "Just take a little tour." She sucks the power as well as the life out of the pusher. Meanwhile, Clem finally gets Dawn to Rex's place, and Dawn goes in, which finds Rex's body and much more powerful Willow waiting for her. Dawn is frightened by the new Willow, looking at plenty of black veins running across her face. Dawn knows Willow she killed Rex, and Willow prays that the killing was an improvement over Warren. Dawn starts to run, but Willow won't let her leave. Dawn attempts to reason with Willow, but Willow, cornering Dawn, offers to turn her back into a ball of energy and end her human existence to end her constant whining. Buffy shows up and demands Willow stay away from Dawn. At the magic box, John continues to offer help Xander and Anya as they struggle to translate the book, but Xander suggests he get back to sitting down unless he can do the translating for them. Andrew wonders why Jonathan is helping their supposed enemies and comes up with the plan to escape before Willow can get to them. Nearby, Anya has to break her. She says she can exact vengeance on him and says she already heard him. He says she already heard him by having sex with Spike. Unexplained, it wasn't vengeance, but solace. As she has to settle on only hating him, and the situation was all his fault. Sam expresses guilt because he saw Warren's gun before Warren shot Buffy and Tara, but he froze and wasn't able to do anything. Xander says he already knows he's useless, but Anya says she was talking about their relationship instead. In Rack's room, Buffy tries to reason with Willow and Dawn to Willow and get Dawn out safely. Willow tells Buffy that she got tired of being the old Willow because the only good part of that involved Tara. When Buffy brings up trying to think about positive things, Willow criticizes Buffy hypocrisy, citing old Buffy's self-destructive habits and depression since her resurrection. When she talks, Willow transports the three of them into the magic box, where Buffy and Dawn collapse to the floor, weakened by the teleportation. Willow turns her magic on Andrew and Jonathan, hurling bolts of lethal magic at them. However, a protection barrier stops Willow from hurting Jonathan and Andrew because Anya, hiding around a corner, continuously chants an anti-magic protection spell. In Africa, a bird and bloody Spike finally defeats his challenger by breaking the man's neck. However, Spike quickly discovers that was only the first of many tests he must pass. In the magic box, Buffy recovers and tries to talk with Willow to stop her from hurting Andrew or Jonathan. Willow is relentless and, since she can't cast a spell on Andrew and Jonathan, instead casts a spell on herself to make herself supernaturally strong, intending to beat both of them, to death. Buffy sets up to physically stop Willow, but she's carelessly tossed aside. Buffy recovers quickly and returns the favor by punching Willow. Xander, uncertain Buffy can stop Willow, takes the opportunity to get Dawn, Andrew, and Jonathan out of the shop. Anya remains by to continue chanting the protection spell. Willow attempts to follow, but Buffy stands in her way and refuses to let her leave. They then begin to fight, breaking the magic box. Xander leads the others through Sunnydale, trying to find somewhere to hide until Willow can be stopped. Andrew says he doesn't want to stay in Sunnydale but wants to escape to Mexico. When Xander objects, Andrew rebels and pulls a sword on Xander. Jonathan pulls the sword on Andrew himself and forces him to back off. Declaring they are staying in Sunnydale and going back to jail to do their time when the dust settles. Buffy Willow's fight continues until Willow finds Anya hiding and, realizing what she was doing, probably knocks her unconscious by tossing Buffy aside. Sitting over two bruised and unconscious former friends. Willow boasts in a confident tone that no one can stop her now. Silly, a bright green light sends Willow flying across the shop as Giles appears in the doorway, willing to test her unstoppable power. Yeah. So anyway, let's take a look at some continuity surrounding this episode. Anya refers to Andrew as what's his face, the other guy. This is part of a running joke of the Scooby Gang being unable to call Andrew's name. Also present in Gone, Never Leave Me, Seeing Red, Grave, Turbulence, and Onid, Part 5, It's on You. Dawn searches for Rack's residence based on the time Willow took her there in the episode Wrecked. Anya rebuffs Xander at the magic box, cutting him short when he's about to make plans. If things get really bad, and wondering if he will propose. This is a reference to the gift when Xander proposes to Anya while the apocalypse is underway. Anya and Xander discuss her night with Spike in the episode Entropy. Willow refers back to the events of normal again, when she says Buffy considered a psych ward to be a possible alternative to being the Slayer. Buffy says that killing someone changes you, followed by, believe me, I know. She has twice fought someone. She had killed a person. Robotic Ted in episode Ted, and more recently, when she was framed for the death of Katrina and Dead Things. Those reflects her experience with Faith with a Slayer when Rogue after accidentally killing Alan Finch in Bad Girls. Andrew retells his encounter with Dark Will in the episode Storyteller, with the events altered in his favor. He describes it to his camera again in Retreat Part 3. Buffy's warning to Will about not wanting to hurt her, only to be attacked in response and then taken back killing me she didn't want to, but is still willing. Similar to the fight between Spike and Drusilla in Becoming Part 2. When Clem was frying taste tests on chips, Dawn replies, as taste tests go, this is definitely one of the better ones I've been to. She had a cooling experiment flooded, in which she asked Giles, you ever tried mixing parts of every cereal you got in one bowl? Giles explained with the peanut butter and banana quesadillas, commenting, remind me never to admit that again, in the episode Wrecked. Rex says that Willow still tastes like strawberries when she first told her it wrecked. Just where Dawn drains Wreck, she repeats the phrase, just take a little tour, for the episode Wrecked. Wreck will be revealed having survived being drained by Willow, albeit powerless. Sword John then takes his Knights of Byzantium sword Buffy took the magic box in Checkpoint. Giles' line, I'd like to test that theory, is repeated by Willow in The Long Way Home, Part 2. Sorry, let's take a look at some production notes. The title of the episode is a reference to the previous one, which ends with Will saying one down after killing Warren. And it's also double entendre as to there being 2 episodes left in the season. Nicholas Brandon does the opening narration. This will happen this year, which precedes a longer than usual recap of all the major events of season 6. Joseph's reappearance was inscribed as leather jacket, no glasses, pure ripper. And Lee Stewart has not credited in the opening guest cast list to surprise viewers with his return. So let's take a look at a broadcast note from this episode. This episode and its second part, Grave, were shown back to back as a 2-hour feature on its original airing in both the USA and UK. Consequently, the presentation of this on DVD included credits such as Grave written by. And now let's take a look at a deleted scene. This line was cut due to length. Clem, we don't have a plan. Do we at least need a plan? Dawn, Buffy and friends never have a plan. They just sort of jump in and don't know what they're doing. Clem, and this works? Dawn, they never really let me come along. Guess we'll find out. It's okay. I mean, they usually come back in one piece. And now finally, let's take a look at some pop culture references. Andrew comments that Willow was like Dark Phoenix, referencing the character and related storyline from the X-Men comics in 1980. Andrew tells Jonathan, laugh it up, fuzzball. A quote from Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. Before fighting, Spike says that the conflict is gladiatorial and then says, here we go now, entertain us. This line is taken from the Nirvana song Smells Like Teen Spirit, and it's also a reference to the film Gladiator, in which the main character shouts to the crowd, are you not entertained? Xander tells Jonathan, I think Willow's in a league of her own now, a reference to the film A League of Their Own. Andrew refers to Willow as Darth Rosenberg, a reference to Darth Vader from the Star Wars franchise. Andrew asks, we're just supposed to sit and wait for Sabrina to show up and disembowel us? A reference to the fictional witch Sabrina Spellman. So I think this episode is pretty dark, and yeah, let's just see that I think Jonathan and Andrew are eventually going to get what's coming to them, so yeah. So for all I give, 2 to go. 5 vampire steaks out of 5. By the way, tune in more as we took on the final episode of Buffy Season 6, Grave. So, until then, here endeth the lesson.